So how about the Chicago Bears? Who would have thought after losing 6 straight, they would still have a shot to control their own destiny? Week 17, they win and they're in. The issue is they're playing Green Bay, but let's talk about what they're doing well and really what Mitchell Trubisky is doing well, because he is doing a lot well, to be honest. So let's start off with this play. It's going to be a play action, and they're going to have Trubisky roll out to his right. And the way it works is that the receiver that Chicago has to the right, he's going to run just a go route, but then they have a tight end who's also basically just going to follow him. And the whole idea is that the Chicago players will be focused on the only receiver who's currently in that area. And then you could have Jimmy Graham, who is the tight end in this play, kind of just follow him and get open. Watch. So, it's a play action. So the linebackers move in, and now Graham is wide open since the defensive back, who is deep, is covering someone else. So you have Graham open. That's kind of what's been working. So for Trubisky, this is an easy play for him to make. I mean, he's on the run, but he has a player wide open. And Trubisky has had his accuracy problems, especially early on in his career, but he's getting more accurate, and also this is just an easy throw for him to make. He does throw an absolute strike to Graham, who makes the grab, picks up a big gain. Those types of plays are the ones that Matt Nagy, I think he's really falling in love with at this point. This is honestly, it's a very Sean Payton kind of thing. That's what they're doing, and I think it makes a lot of sense. It's working out pretty well for the Chicago Bears. I actually just recorded a video about Drew Brees and his performance with the Saints. I'm not exactly sure which order I'm going to post them, but yeah, it's very similar. Sean Payton loves those types of plays, and Nagy's been running those types of plays a good amount himself. This one's another interesting one, because this time we're actually going to see that it's going to be a very similar idea. You have a receiver run deep, and then you're going to have Jimmy Graham once again. He's going to, it's a little bit different this time, whereas instead of Graham running as though he's running through the flat and then running deep, he's going to kind of fake as though he's running an out, and then he's going to run a go route just behind, again, another Chicago player. But it's a very similar concept. There's also a play action on this one as well. So, again, very similar idea. Trubisky takes the snap, fakes the handoff, and you look at Graham. So this is the situation, and you notice that there is a defensive player who's covering him this time, whereas last time that was not the case. Last time he got wide open. Now Jacksonville kind of realized, okay, I see what they're doing. We have to make sure we cover this. The issue is that it's not that easy to cover, and quite frankly, Chicago has a couple of tight ends that can move, so it's a lot easier said than done. Watch how the Jacksonville defensive back falls down, a fall that will land them Trevor Lawrence, or at least help them land Trevor Lawrence. You can see why they're the worst team in football, but also, good throw from Trubisky, a little bit high, especially with the defensive back falling down, but he didn't know he was going to fall down when he let go of the ball. He was letting go of the ball before the fall happened, so he kind of just had to play it out as though it could have been good coverage. And if it was good coverage, that's probably still a touchdown because it's a good throw. Now, there were some issues. I gotta be honest. Let's be honest. Mitchell Trubisky is not a superstar. Everyone's wondering, should the Bears keep Trubisky now? Has he shown them enough? I still think he's the kind of guy where I'm not quite sure. I think he's a top 20 quarterback, but I do think he's someone who can win you football games if he's a starter. I do think he's a top 32 quarterback, and he's clearly shown he can improve because he has, but he still does have a bit of an accuracy problem. He does. Like on this play, it's a similar style play. What they're going to do is have a receiver run deep. You also are going to have a man in motion to Trubisky's right. So basically, the Jacksonville defender who is deep is going to stay deep with the go route. The one who is shallow will kind of run underneath for the receiver who's in motion, who will be in the flat. So then for Chicago, they're going to have another player sort of run in between and try to get into that gap in coverage. That's how this play works. It makes sense. This is a good play. I like these types of things, and Matt Nagy loves them. And it's once again Jimmy Graham who will be running the route, which, how about Jimmy Graham? All of a sudden, everyone thought he was washed. He's played well for Chicago. But yeah, Trubisky takes the snap. It's, again, another play action, which, again, play actions with Chicago do it a lot. Your running game is working now with David Montgomery. Their offensive line is healthy, so they can block. Run play action now. Good job. And you see, at this point, Graham is not wide open by any means. This is the tough throw, and I just feel like with Trubisky, I don't trust him to make tough throws consistently. As you see, he has him, just puts a little bit too much on it. Graham could have maybe made the grab too. That one's not bad. I'm not going to kill him for that. It was a little bit high, and part of me wonders if I even noticed this, if it's not something that has plagued Trubisky's career of the whole accuracy being an issue thing. So it is possible that sort of subconscious bias when you see Trubisky, you expect him to miss throws. So when there is one that's a little bit too far, you just notice it more than you would if that was Patrick Mahomes. But at the same time, it is still a missed throw at the end of the day. You would like to see him just make those right. And, there still is that thing where I feel like he doesn't make tough throws consistently. This next play is a cover 3 zone, and he has a receiver who's going to get into a gap in coverage on this play, so this is something that could potentially work out. Trubisky takes the snap. The camera does a weird little thing there. Cameraman kind of doing his best Quentin Tarantino impression with that one. But yeah, you see that there is definitely a window, but it's a tough window, and this is one of those issues where the receiver that you want to throw to isn't necessarily right in the middle of the window, so you kind of have to throw it to where the window is as opposed to where your receiver is. Given this situation, the ideal placement for this ball would be basically make your receiver make a diving catch. Throw it low so that way, worst case scenario, it's an incompletion, and also kind of get it in between the two Jacksonville players who are over the middle of the field. That's what Trubisky should do here, and that's what he's going to attempt to do here. He gets it over, but it's just a bit too low. Not quite a grab on that one. Allen Robinson, really good receiver, just wasn't quite able to get there. It wasn't a great throw. He missed it by a little bit, but it's also, he didn't miss it by a ton either. It wasn't like a completely wide open miss like you might think, because you see how it bounces right there. You would assume, oh wow, what a horrible throw. But he's trying to throw it low to begin with because, of where he has to throw it in relation to where the other Jacksonville players are. So I don't think that's as bad as it might just look when you watch it on TV. This next one is a great example of one that looks horrible on TV, but when you see the all 22, it's still not great, but you kind of get it. So this is going to be a cover 2 zone, and you see the routes on the screen. There's a couple of things that Trubisky could look towards. You have kind of a somewhat similar concept to what I've showed you earlier that worked on his left, where you have, a tight end who's going to run over the middle. He can take away the safety, and you have a back kind of run underneath a little bit. Maybe he could get open towards the corner of the end zone, and that's where Trubisky is hoping he can make a throw to. Meanwhile, to his right, he does have Allen Robinson, who's going to have a one-on-one matchup with the safety deep, so honestly, that's not a horrible throw either. So, a couple good options on either side. I've already watched the play. I know that Robinson would have been the correct read, but he doesn't know that at the time, and I think it's fine to look at either read. First, he's going to look to his left, and you notice it doesn't really get open, so now he's just going to completely scramble for about an hour, and eventually he finds Robinson, who is in a one-on-one matchup, and Trubisky kind of says, you know what? Why not just throw up a jump ball right here? I have Allen Robinson, a great receiver, one of the real underrated wide receivers in the league. It's a 10-10 game, 35 seconds left at the end of the half. It's first down. Let's just take a chance, see if we can get a touchdown here. If not, well, then we're still playing the Jaguars. We're probably in a good shape. But the chances are this isn't going to end up in a pick because it's Allen Robinson. When does he get beat in a way that requires an interception? But the issue is Trubisky waits a little bit too long and makes his throw nowhere near quick enough. So by the time the ball gets there ends up being like 7 Jaguars in the area and it gets intercepted. So if you're going to make that throw, you have to make it immediately, and you have to get it there quickly. You can't let it just take forever. Honestly, it's probably not worth the risk in general, but it's really not worth the risk when you lob it up there. But I actually don't think it's as bad once you watch the All-22. I think that what was funny about the broadcast footage was that you see him make the throw, and then you see, like 18 Jaguars in the area, and you're like, why would you do that? But it actually makes a little bit more sense when you can see the whole thing. So far from a perfect day, but again, with a great defense and now a good running game, and you have Allen Robinson, you can win with Trubisky. He's shown you that. And if they win one more, they're in the postseason. And even if they lose, they have a chance as long as the Rams win. So that's what they have to do. They need a win or a Cardinals loss, and they're in pretty crazy stuff. Very up and down season, but good for the Bears. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What were your thoughts on Trubisky this game? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.